Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much, Aaron, for coming to my show. It's doing good. How you're doing?
Doing really well. Just another great week, trying to wrap up the year this last quarter and continue ahead.
Awesome. So I've gone through your profile. I can see you are doing a lot of stuff. You're doing a lot of work. So I thought to tell about the work that you're doing to my audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, we started American Cloud a little bit over a year ago, and I've been in the physical side of digital infrastructure for quite some time now. And what we saw, or what we're really seeing, is this need open up in the marketplace with data sovereignty and folks really wanting to, and organizations really need to localize their data for their users. For whatever reasons necessary. It could be there's privacy laws, or there could be another reason, just corporate policy at the organization. And a lot of companies are working to repatriate their data out of the bigger cloud companies like AWS, Google, Microsoft. And so we set out to create a cloud, an infrastructure as a service platform for organizations in America. And we wanted to create a cloud platform that was, easier to use than the big three, with all the same functionality. So, I'm really excited about the fact, today we do have that product. We developed our own software. We use some really great open source projects, and our entire stack is now resilient. We own our own real estate, we own our own data center, we own our own IP space. We don't rely on any outside vendor. And really what I mean behind that is there's a lot of infrastructure providers that are effectively just wrappers of the other providers, right? Like you see a lot of these cloud service providers that are really just a fancy wrapper on top of AWS or on top of Google, and they're providing some features on top of that to make it easier to use. But at the end of the day, they're not actually in control of the infrastructure. And we set out on a different path with American Cloud. We bought our own data center, we own it, we operate it, we own our own hardware, we built out our own software. And so when an organization or a customer really wants to have control of their data and still leverage all the, fun features and easy to use features of a more niche cloud service provider, there's a really good match with American Cloud, and we have a really, really personal connection with all of our customers.
So the first line that I saw on your website is, you're giving a lot of importance to the data of the customer. So can you elaborate it?
Yeah, of course. So, a lot of that comes behind some of the some of the unfair policies and uh, data monetization that the bigger clouds are able to do. Google, for example, is a really bad offender of this, where they basically have access, and they've given themselves access to all of your organization's data. Whether you're a Google Workspace customer or a Google Cloud customer, Google is able to look at your data, and then they monetize it, right? With their ad platform, which is the biggest in the world. And and that's something that we don't do at American Cloud, right? Like the data at the end of the day belongs to the organization that is hosting their application with us. And while we're stewards of the infrastructure and we provide a platform for organizations to host their companies, their data, their application, whatever it is, we don't go around and use that data for other purposes, right? We just provide the infrastructure and the utility for these organizations to use.
So right now, for what kind of applications you're providing infrastructure as a service?
We have, it's kind of all of the above. So we have virtual compute like you'd expect. So, any, Linux flavor machine. We support some Windows servers as well. We recommend that customers bring their own license because that provides more portability for them in the future. We have a bunch of marketplace apps for, one-click deployments for like simple open source projects like WordPress or Nextcloud. We have a CNCF certified Kubernetes product, managed Kubernetes. We have object storage. We have block storage. We have load balancers. We have DNS management. We have a beta auto scaling feature that allows for horizontal scaling in and out of just basic Linux machines. And, we have a customer facing API that customers can use. Um, Trying to think what else is worth mentioning, but, basically all the traditional infrastructure as a service products and you name it, we can host it.
So your data center is located in United States.
Yeah, it's on the West Coast in Silicon Valley, and we're currently looking to expand into the central and eastern regions. But our strategy is to own the infrastructure, so that it just takes time.
So which industries are going to get more benefit from your infrastructure?
So far, we're really seeing two different market segments benefit the most. Software as a service companies are seeing a huge benefit from American Cloud, mainly because we don't charge network egress fees. It's a fixed cost for us, and so it's a fixed cost for our customers. Depending how the network is set up, VPC is $12 a month. That's what it costs. You don't get charged any additional fees. It's unmetered bandwidth. Um, and so for software as a service companies that have users, all over the country, all over the world, pulling data out of their cloud, that, not having those operational fees rack up throughout the month is a huge cost savings event. And so we're able to reduce their bottom line or maximize their bottom line so that they can spend that money on their core business. The other market segment that we see a lot of attraction from is companies that feel existentially threatened by big tech for whatever reason. That could be political. It could be because their line of business is, out of the norm. I don't even want to say out of the norm, but that's actually a really bad phrase. I'd rephrase that as there's industries that big tech refuses to support. A really good example of that is the gun industry, for example. Like Shopify or Google Compute, they have really restricted policies around the organizations that can host their infrastructure with them. And so we don't we don't partake in the philosophical debate. As long as you follow the laws of the land, and there's already institutions in place that enforce those laws, and that's not a technology company, it's not American Cloud, then you can host your organizational data with us. So the number one market segment is definitely SaaS companies, and then we're also seeing the existentially threatened companies also move over to American Cloud for peace of mind.
So what is that reason that made you to start American Cloud, and what kind of problems you want to solve?
Yeah, I started American Cloud after spending several years in the infrastructure space on the consulting side of the business. So I was helping enterprises find the right hosting providers. And what I found, after touring through hundreds of different data centers and speaking with hundreds of different hosting providers, what I really found was that, there was this problem with digital infrastructure where companies, in my belief, like American Cloud, we're providing a utility and we're trying to make it easy to use. And these companies, for whatever reason, decided that they did not want to serve different segments of the market fairly. And, fair is a broad term. So the problems we try to address with fairness are cost. We make sure that we're not overcharging and we're not hiding fees. And then two, in the more philosophical side, we don't refuse any business from companies that are following the law or individuals that are following the law. So everybody can have a safe and neutral infrastructure provider that doesn't care what their line of business is in. So we save people money and we ensure that all legally protected businesses and speech are allowed on the internet without restriction.
So what do you say about data security?
It should be the first thing that every organization is talking about, right? So in a world where cyber threats, are outpacing cyber controls, it needs to be something that an organization or an individual is thinking from the forefront. I can talk a little bit about how we address it. We have a SOC 2 Type 2 compliant data center. And really, like, under the hood, what that means is we've taken the security framework from the leading security agencies, NIST and CISA, and we've applied those frameworks to how we build our product. And that's all the way from the dirt, from the actual data center, to having a 24 by 7 by 365 manned facility with a gate, access controls, biometric access to different sections of the facility, all the way through to, who gets to touch the hardware, who's cabling the hardware, who's installing the software, change requests on our hardware, and then all sorts of different controls and monitoring mechanisms to ensure that we have the infrastructure secured. Now with cloud, specifically over the past 10, 15 years, it's important to note the shared responsibility matrix where the infrastructure and the cloud itself, American Cloud itself, is secure. However, we enable customers to be, the controllers of their own destiny. So a customer is going to build, or an organization is going to build their own application, their own website, whatever it is. And they need to ensure that the way they build their application or, web property is also secure. You want to make sure that you're not opening up ports to the entire internet. You want to make sure that, keys and passwords are randomly generated and they're rolled. And you want to make sure that there's no access points, right? So that your application can't get hacked. We, on the cloud side, can ensure that nobody's coming in from a backend and getting into your server from somewhere else on our network. But we do give the customer control over their own network and their own infrastructure. So it is really important that organizations are thinking about security from the get-go.
So before asking another interesting question, can you be in the middle of the screen so that you can go? Yeah. Yeah. So my next question is, what is the capacity of your business, and what sizes of business can able to use your service?
Yeah, absolutely. So from a physical side of the house, we currently have 10 megawatts of power. We can permit up to another 4.5 megawatts at our facility. We have millions of IP addresses at our disposal that we own, and we have a growing inventory of hardware, that can support, petabytes or zettabytes of storage, and however much compute you need. So we can host, all the way up to the largest enterprises on our cloud. We are seeing the most traction from SMBs and mid-sized companies currently. A lot of that is because the American Cloud product is pretty new to the marketplace, and enterprises, want to see some track history before they move over their digital assets, which I understand. But from a capacity perspective, we're not limited right now. We wouldn't reach a capacity issue. We just want to make sure that the customers that are choosing American Cloud are well supported by our team, and they have everything they could ever want or need from an infrastructure provider.
So when you was working as consultant and understanding the cloud before, there must be so many things that would be running in your mind and that you wanted to solve problems through American Cloud. So what are those?
Oh man, everything. It starts early on in the sales cycle that there's problems that need to be solved. From onboard, well, actually all the way from the sales process itself. So as a consultant, we typically would get hired by an enterprise to review their infrastructure and suggest different optimization points. And so when we got to the optimization phase of the audit, we would start to bring in different service providers into that enterprise's opportunity. And all the way from the sales and sales engineering time, as soon as we would call in, a cloud or a managed hosting provider, or even just a colo provider, there is always a struggle with accountability, and customer success was always a problem. And so, very early on, we wanted to be a customer first and a customer centric cloud where, we're very transparent with our customers about the decisions they're making. And, we're not scared to tell a customer that they're making a decision that we think is wrong. But just because that statement doesn't mean that we're not always trying to empower the customer for their success. And so that's one of the big areas we wanted to address. And then, like we talked about earlier, we really wanted to make sure that we weren't charging any egregious fees. We want that's always been a problem where service providers are trying to create more margin for themselves by overcharging for their products and services. Usually it's a result of, there's heavy investment in that service provider that they need to make a higher margin on. But we don't have that problem. And so all of our fees are their market rate without any of those hidden fees that surprise people at the end of the month. And then data sovereignty and, being able to address the problem where there was a huge shift to the cloud 10, 15 years ago where companies rushed out of their own infrastructure into the cloud because it was easier to use. And what companies lost in that shift was ownership of their data, the ownership of how to control and manage their data. And so in this new model, we really reinforce the ability and we enable our customers to kind of take that ownership back. You still get all of the great usability features of a cloud, but we help customers set up their own configuration management systems. We help them take back control over how the infrastructure is supporting their business. And, these can be paid or free type modules for these customers depending on what they need.
So again, you're going out of the camera.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm in this.
Yeah. Okay. Just to correct it, can you put your camera a little leftwards so that even if you move, it won't work.
Like this way?
Yeah. Yeah. This is good. Yeah. So
it looks like I'm on too far this way now, but whatever you say.
Yeah, this
Sorry
is
about
correct. So, so American Cloud is for all the states in America.
Yeah, I mean, technically we're publicly available. So any organization anywhere in the world can use American Cloud, but the data lives in America, and we're really focused on the American market. But we do have international clients as well. It's just the actual cloud itself is hosted here in America and, is really focused on supporting American enterprise.
So you have global customers.
Yes, we do have several global customers who, based on what I hope and what I think is a great product, have still selected to use American Cloud, either in collaboration with other infrastructure closer to their user, or they're using a CDN to distribute their content closer to the edge. But for their origin service, they're using American Cloud. And, at the end of the day, I think that's a reflection of we don't over provision our infrastructure. So, if you rent a core with us, that core belongs to you. We don't charge network egress fees. So regardless of where the data is traveling, once it lives in American Cloud, you're not getting charged an extra fee. And our product is simple and it's easy to use. It's easy to navigate. You don't need a PhD in cloud in order to use American Cloud. It's just an easier to use platform.
So tell me about American Cloud team and how they are supporting American Cloud to the customers.
Absolutely. We have a team with a deep history in digital infrastructure, ranging, from early Linux days, all the way to Windows and everywhere in between. Two of my technical co-founders at American Cloud were former supercompute guys. They built out some of the original supercomputers and the networks that supported those supercomputers. We have we have other staff that was heavily involved in the Windows space to help out with customers that are still using Windows machines. We have a bunch of really kick-ass customer success and sales engineering folks, and really the sales engineering folks they're cloud architects at the end of the day. They're engineers that can help customers design the right system for their organization. About half of our staff is veteran. I served for one of the United States Armed Forces in their past, and so that's really just a testament to the team that really puts the mission first. And the mission in American Cloud is to have a really extremely great customer experience.
So you're providing cloud technology services to humanity. So how you are able to match the customers' requirements with the services that you're providing, the technology that you are giving them?
Yeah, the framework that we the framework that we decided on in order to support that mission was we selected the best and most reliable and easy to use open source projects that could enable the orchestration of infrastructure reliably and securely. So, and we've really engineered out in the open. And I'm going to be talking more about this at actually another conference not too long, but we selected Apache Cloud Stack instead of OpenStack. The big reason for that is easy use and reliability, right? OpenStack is big. It has a lot of features. It's also really complex. It's also really hard to manage. And so as an infrastructure provider, we needed to make sure that we could scale with customer demand. And so using a more contained, reliable infrastructure orchestrator made more sense for our organization because it's more scalable and it's more manageable at the end of the day. We also use Ceph for some of our storage. I'm sure you're familiar with, they provide block and object and even file storage systems. And so our object storage service is backed by Ceph, A2 object storage. We also use tools like Zabbix for some usage graphics for customers. We use Power DNS for a DNS management service. And on top of that, what we have is we've got a custom built, what I call a service delivery application, where this is, effectively it's an API transformer because we use the different APIs from the different open source projects, and we transform that API into the American Cloud product, which has our portal, it has our customer facing API. It is, kind of the source of truth for customers so that they're able to buy, purchase, and manage their infrastructure in an easy to use fashion. So we kind of have it layered from a product standpoint where we can add in other orchestrators or different projects to enable new features on the cloud, whether they're homegrown infrastructure products or we're using an open source project that's already been proven in the marketplace. And we can add that to our product reliably. And speaking of which, we'll be adding a bare metal as a service product here in the near future. And, it kind of just, we can kind of just bolt that in and add it to our service delivery app, have the infrastructure behind it supported and reliable. And then, our customers are able to enjoy another product in our stack.
So I have a lot of American followers and American listeners who will be listening to this and watching this. So can you tell them how you are going to do, you are doing the projects and how you are able to manage it from the starting to end, and what is the time frame and who are the team and the people are going to involve in it?
Absolutely. The number one thing I'd like to note is American Cloud is publicly available. So anybody who's listening can go to americancloud.com. They can create an account. They can validate that they're a real person with a real credit card, and they can start building on their own. The same way that you do with AWS or DigitalOcean or Linode, you can log in, create, and start building. So that is fully automated. All these products are, completely productized and ready to use and reliable. We have product documentation at docs.americancloud.com to guide you through setting some stuff up if you need any help. But most technical folks like to just kind of give it a swing before they read any documentation, and we've got some notes for those folks as well in the docs if they hit any speed bumps. And then on the other side of that, if you're looking for a more white glove tailored onboarding process, we have our sales and customer success team. You can reach out to sales@americancloud.io, which is different than our app domain, which is .com. We use .io for email. It's another security measure that we've enabled. So sales@americancloud.io, and that'll get you in contact with our customer success team. And from there, we'll do something similar to kind of what I did in the consultant space, where we're gonna have a conversation and figure out what your organizational needs are, what your pain points are, and we're gonna help design and architect a proposal that matches your organizational needs. And then from there, there's kind of a bunch of different spokes about how the relationship could go. If you're listening to this and your organization, needs a fully outsourced IT stack and you need, somebody to manage all of that, we have a route we can take you on. There's partners that we work with kind of as outsourced managed IT. We have some in-house capabilities like I was talking about earlier, where we can set up configuration management systems so the infrastructure works for you. In a more automated and controlled sense. And then we have, we've helped you design and architect it, and then folks want to just kind of go back and build from there. So, there's several different routes that you kind of go. But once you're in contact with us, you're going to have somebody that's going to be talking to you every day or once a week or however often you want to talk to them. We won't annoy you, we promise. And, from there, it's just, a customer success journey and making sure that you have everything you need to succeed.
So how your team is going to design architecture for any businesses? Because any business wants to concentrate on how to build their business, but not on the infrastructure side, or that mostly they don't want to spend time on technology, but which is actually the backbone of all the businesses. So how you will assure them that, and help them to concentrate only on their business, not on the technology side or the infrastructure side?
Absolutely. That is more in the middle ground of kind of in between American Cloud and the customer. And that's more where, if there's a company that wants to completely outsource their IT management, where we would recommend working with a managed service provider. These are companies that are focused on providing kind of that internal help desk. My email is down, or I can't access the file system, and they have basically assigned technicians to every company that they manage, and they really focused on that end user support. So in a situation where it's a company like that, we would recommend an MSP that works with us. On the other side of things, if it's a business that just wants to migrate their website, or they want to migrate their simple business application, that's more where there's more of like a design and architectural discussion. And maybe it's a new build, and we can kind of design from the ground up, and you've got all sorts of different app, front end, back end frameworks that can work. And again, we would probably recommend a partner that offers, full stack app development for that company, unless they've hired that out internally. And then finally, there's the organizations that already have all of their infrastructure deployed somewhere else, but they want to migrate to American Cloud. And that's where we would design a migration, and we would plan a migration. And, this is all the way from ensuring that the web servers and database servers and storage capacity is all set up and designed in a way that meets the needs for that business application. And then we would plan a migration. We would do the migration, and we'd plan a cutover once the new system is deployed and validated as true. And every one of those, we play a certain role in that stack, either leading or supporting the efforts. And we don't try to be everything, right? We're not an everything company. We're an infrastructure company, and we're really, really good at infrastructure. So we focus on that core aspect.
So you're helping from small scale to large scale companies. So what you want to say to my audience, who are building businesses and who wants to use American Cloud?
I would say if you want a cloud experience that is more centered around the original intent of cloud, which was to make infrastructure easier to use and less headache for your business, we've actually succeeded in following through on that mission. And so you can move and work with American Cloud if you want a cloud service provider who actually wants to make infrastructure less of a headache for you. You won't be overcharged, and you will be taken care of as a customer or a partner of American Cloud. If you're tired of paying for support, if you're a Microsoft customer, come to American Cloud. If you're tired of not being able to talk to anybody at AWS, or needing to hire, a cloud architect in order to support your AWS infrastructure, come to American Cloud. If you're having a headache in the cloud, but also don't want to host your own physical infrastructure, talk to us. We're going to make infrastructure easy for you.
So how the contacting works, if you have a global audience, because there will be different time zones, and where your office is located?
Yeah, we have employees all over the United States, and actually one employee in Canada. So I guess I can say North America right now. So the easiest way is to reach out to sales@americancloud.io. Once you're a customer, we do have 24/7 by 365 support that is, available inside the platform. The way we handle responding to a distributed customer base is we're located in several time zones ourselves, and since we're more focused on the American market, it's not so much of a problem for us. But for our global customers, we just schedule calls during times that overlap when both teams are available. So just reach out to sales@americancloud.io and we'll get you squared away.
So I'll put your web links in the description of this video, also on my website. People who finds my website also on YouTube channel can able to see the service that you're providing and can able to, use your services for the business development.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So our basic website, americancloud.com, is a great resource for information about our products. Sales@americancloud.io is a great email. And then on a personal note, if you wanted to become a referral agent so you can refer business to us, we can give you a referral link so that anybody that signs up from your websites, you can get tagged and you can get a commission.
Yeah, I'll put those links in my website. And at last, as a business owner, as a service provider, as a problem solver, what is your observation about my work? Have you seen videos on my YouTube channel?
You requested to follow me, and then I saw that you had a pretty large audience, so I was intrigued. So I'm excited to talk today and kind of learn more. I'm very curious about your DevOps background. And one of the things that I love to hear about is kind of like what got you interested in technology, and what do you love about technology?
So I actually did a master's in software engineering, also bachelor's in computer science and engineering. Right now I'm working for DevOps engineering projects for a UK company. So apart from that, that is my full-time job. That is, those are the projects that I'm doing. Apart from that, I'm interviewing experts like you from all over the world, more than 100 countries experts I have interviewed from all the companies. I also interviewed Amazon Web Services vice president, and also from Salesforce vice president. Also a lot of experts from Microsoft, from different from US and from Canada and UK, from more than 100 countries. Experts, the founders, business owners, engineers, authors, architects. DevOps engineers, like all kind of psychologists, doctors, police officers, trying to understand. My background is technology background actually, but I just wanted to understand how global technology business works and how this is helping humanity to save time and energy. So, as an observer, what is your observation about my work? How this is going to contribute for me in my technology career?
Well, I think there's two parts there. So getting having the ability to talk to hundreds of different people from diverse different parts of the world and cultures is going to expose you to a lot of different thought leaders on how to approach technology and how technology is helping and how it's hurting. And so the more experience and the more conversations you had is really just going to make you a smarter person, a smarter resource in the space. And I think also as a DevOps engineer right now, and maybe at some point you branch out and start your own DevOps firm or your own other business in some sense, you're going to have a really astute opinion on the different problems that are in the market, and you can develop systems or technologies to fix those problems. And because you're having so many conversations with so many different types of people, if you start to see trends with those people, you can kind of rush to solve the problem and fix it. And that will, one, benefit people at large, and two, hopefully be lucrative and make you money in the process.
That's a great observation. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much again, Aron, for your valuable time and sharing about the work that you're doing to my audience. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yeah, of course.
Also on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission.
Yep, all good to go.
Thank you, Aron, again.
Thank you, Sai. It was great meeting you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.